there's thunder, there's lightning. John Notto. Back at you again with another freeform video, and I want to jump right into the topic at hand. I had discussed a friend of mine who's going through a divorce, and as time has gone on, this situation has evolved and developed. And it has showed that continually there is no depth, there is no level of depravity that some people are not willing to go to. The level of diabolical mind that a person is able to have. To cut a long story short, shortly after they decided upon the divorce, my friend met this girl who he kind of has mutual interest with in terms of some side jobs that he does. And so this girl early on was showing a lot of interest in quite a weird way, in a way that threw up many red flags to my friend. And so she was moving very quickly with things and really wanting to, you know, pretty much have a relationship with him right out of the gate before the divorce has even been finalized. Now, anybody or many of you who have gone through a divorce are familiar with divorce decrees and certain parameters that are set in those decrees. And so to break those parameters can hurt you when you go to the court proceeding. Well, it should come of no surprise that the ex-wife has already shacked up with some other guy. So she's in violation of this decree. And so this girl that has shown this oddly quick, oddly fast interest in my friend, come to find out has a sister. And guess who the sister works with? You guessed it, the ex-wife. So my friend puts two and two together. It was really sort of almost supernatural and miraculous how he figured all this out. But to make a long story short, he figured out that his ex-wife, through the sister that she works with, was trying to set him up with this girl that has been going after him and has been showing this odd amount and voracious amount of attention and interest. So the sister of the sister was being set up to set my friend up, so that way that he would also be, I guess in their hopes, that he would violate some of the parameters of the divorce decree and thereby getting some footing back for her in the court. And that just goes to show you right there, guys, AWOL all day long, every day, and it'll never change. And predictably, the girl has tried to get back, or has tried to say, well, you know, initially it started out as this kind of Red Sparrow, Trojan horse type situation, but you know, in the process, I really fell in love with you, and I really do see us being together. But I mean, whether it's true or not, whether there's any validity to it or not, the fact of the matter remains is that the trust is broken. There is no trust there now. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And to his credit, his response to all this was simply, this isn't a rom-com. And so it's crazy because it's almost like women have no concept of trust. It's almost as if women think that trust is just some cheap commodity that can be, you know, won back at a whim. Won back because you left a card on somebody's front porch, or you left a case of their favorite beer, or you just uttered some words and you can't understand why those words are not believable. You can't understand why it's not just enough to say, well, you know, it started out with bad intentions, but now, you know, now I've had a change of heart. I've seen the light. And so here we are. And then many people wonder why so many guys are going the synthetic route. Now, I'm not here to convince anybody one way or the other. We're men going our own way. We're adults. We can make our own decisions. But it's very telling that something as simple as a TPE doll can replace most women fairly easily. I mean, maybe there's the few out there that, given the right cultural and social and spiritual structure and background, maybe they would be able to have an enduring and meaningful relationship with somebody. But we're talking about maybe, 1% or less of most of the available options out there. I mean, as a guy in his 30s, and I've been on and off dating sites in the past, it's not something that I've purveyed in recent times. But your choices basically are, if you go on most of the sites, single mothers with 2 to 3 kids. I remember several years ago, 1 kid was one thing, but now you have single mothers that have 3 and 4 kids, and some of them are from the same father, and maybe some of them aren't. All kinds of psychological issues, borderline personality disorder, everything else, everything under the sun you can think of, and a whole host of biological and disease-oriented issues. And so it made me think of some of the relationships and some of the people that I've dated and talked to in my own past. And you just never know. I mean, you could be like this guy, married for 10 years, or married for more, or maybe only 2 to 3 years, or maybe not even married at all. You've just been in a long-term relationship with a girl. And the whole time you could go along in life blissfully unaware of the fact that she's been seeing somebody else on the side this whole time. And here you thought there was loyalty from her. But no, you had no idea that all this was going on. All this was taking place. So whether you're in a long-term relationship or married, the loyalty is never guaranteed. A woman is only as loyal as her options allow. And so you can never fully trust any woman that you're ever with. And you won't know until the last second, because nobody's going to let go of the branch they have hold of until the other one is in sight. And then that's when the swing will take place. And so again, so many people are looking at the synthetic option, because with the synthetic option, the biggest hassle is the cleanup. The biggest hassle is the moving around of the dead weight. But beyond that, you never have to really think in the back of your mind, I wonder if this person is being loyal. I wonder if this person is screwing around behind my back. You never have to wonder if you're going to catch a disease out of nowhere, or get hit with a pregnancy for a child that isn't yours, that you're going to have to fund all the, basically fund everything for. Marriage nowadays, and even long-term relationships, is all the risk with none of the reward. I mean, you can get thrown out of your own house. You can get charged falsely with a domestic violence charge and lose your gun rights, lose your fishing license, lose your hunting license. There's so many things that you can lose. You can get hit with child support for a child that isn't yours. And so when you look at the risk versus reward, when you look at the juice versus the squeeze, I don't think that I have to say much more on what makes the most sense. And yet we keep telling guys this. We keep reiterating these points. And unfortunately, statistically, most men will not heed the call. Most men will simply think it won't happen to them. That's for somebody else. These are somebody else's problems. And so that's why the cycle continues. It's very obvious to most of us. And like I've said in the past, I've been very fortunate to come out of this relatively unscathed in comparison to a lot of other people. Now, that being said, I recently am looking into the whole world of kayak fishing and things like that. It's like I want a boat, but with none of the hassles of having the boat. And I've started trying to decide, life is very short and it comes and goes, and our health is not always going to be with us throughout our entire life. So I've made the decision I'm going to go out and start doing things that I've always wanted to do while I can do them, and enjoy my life and do the things and be in the places that I enjoy, you know, while I have the chance to do so. A shout out to Paul Proteus, who mentioned on the last video, I thought it was kind of funny that he listens to my videos while he's at work. Well, Paul, I do the same thing, and I find myself coming back to your Freedom To and Freedom From video quite often. A shout out also to Human and Mountain MGTOW and the other MGTOW content producers out there. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are living the life you want to live on your terms, and that goes out to also all the other guys out there in radio land, so to speak, all the MGTOW. I wish you the best, and let that be something that you think about. You know, I've said it many times in this program before. There's something that we've all wanted to do. There's something that we've all wanted to experience, and now is the best time to do it. Now that you're free, now that you have the ability, now that you have the motivation, go out and live your life for yourself. There's no shame in that. Although many will try to shame you for it, you must keep in mind that at the end of the day, nobody cares about you like you. And as always, brothers, go your own way or don't. The choice is yours.